Right? So this is a word problem from 237. It says, a man throws a ball off the top of a building, and this table shows the height of the ball at different times. Find a quadratic model for the data. So again, load it in the calculator. It's already loaded. And then do stat calc 5 for quadratic, enter. All right. Here's our screen that we got right there, which tells us that y equals negative 16 x squared plus 33x plus 46. All right, now, how would we estimate the height of the ball at 2.5 seconds, which is not in this list? Plug it in for x, right? So what are we going to get? We put in a 2.5 here. Here's the 2.5. It goes here and here. Anybody? 88.5? Okay. 88.5 feet. Okay, let's see. That is not correct. Yeah. 28.5. Try that again. It's going to say. Okay. So let's try that again. 28.5? Okay. 28.5. Look in the data here. If you had to estimate like halfway in between 48 and 1, that's 49, that's about 24.5. The 28.5, it's not linear, right? This is kind of a curved graph, so you really can't expect that it's necessarily going to be like halfway in between. And it's not halfway in between the 2 and the 3, even though 2.5 is, because it's not linear. Okay, so that's kind of important. Since it's not linear, you're just not going to try to estimate it by guessing, the halfway point. You might be kind of far off if you did that. Okay. So that is, using the calculator to find the model, let's say. Again, you can do that for linear. You can do it for everything. Now, the one thing that I didn't say, which I don't know how you'll see this presented, but let's say they gave you some data and they said, make an appropriate model. Then you got to look at the data. You got to look and see, well, what does it look like? Which model would it look like? And let's just say on the one that we're doing now, if you wanted to see the data that you put in, then you do this, right? You go second, y equals, that's stat plot. If you look above there, you should see that. If you hit 1, you should see it's probably highlighted on off. You want to make it on so that you see the points, right? And it should be highlighted on that, which is scatter plot. And it should be drawing the data from the L1 is the X, the L2 is the Y, right? And then if you want to see it, because if you looked at that data just in a normal graph, you may not see it because it's not centered around the origin. So what you want to do is zoom 9. Zoom 9 is zoom stat. Zoom is here. Zoom 9 is zoom stat. And then it puts the data in the middle of the screen so that you can kind of see the shape. There's one point that's here that you're maybe not seeing so well because it's hidden by the graph. But look at that point, that point, that point, and that point. If you had to guess between linear and quadratic, which one would you guess? Quadratic. It's quadratic. If you don't know how to do this, you could just make a little hand plot real quick and see whether it looks linear, whether it looks like it's curved, then use quadratic. We don't really have any others to use yet, right, because we didn't get to any other kinds of functions. But we could at least decide between those two. Okay.